in the darkest place on earth, a place where hope seemed impossible and death was everywhere, the human spirit could still rise. Wake up, my friend.
Today, we're exploring Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, a book that doesn't just tell a story, it hands us the key to surviving suffering, finding purpose, and living with unshakable strength. Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist, but more than that, he was a survivor. He spent years in Nazi concentration camps during World War II. He saw starvation, cruelty, humiliation, and death on a scale most of us can't imagine. Yet, from that nightmare, he gave the world one of the most life-changing insights ever, that human beings can endure almost anything if they find meaning in it. The book is divided into two main parts. The first recounts his raw experiences in the camps, what daily life was like, the despair, the moments of horror, but also the seeds of resilience. The second part introduces logotherapy, Frankl's therapeutic approach based on the belief that our deepest drive is not pleasure or power, but meaning. Together, these parts form a roadmap: how to face suffering, how to live with purpose, and how to transform even the worst pain into growth. Imagine this for a moment. You're stripped of your clothes, your name, your identity. All you have left is a number tattooed on your skin. You're starved, beaten, and surrounded by death. How do you not only survive, but find something worth living for? That's the question Frankl answers. It's why this book still matters today. Suspense comes early because Frankl tells us the camps were not just about physical survival, but about spiritual survival. Many who seemed strong gave up quickly. Others who appeared weaker endured far longer. The difference wasn't physical, it was meaning. Those who found a purpose, whether love for a family member, faith, or a mission to complete, could withstand almost anything. And here's the shocking truth. Even when everything is taken from you, your freedom, your possessions, your dignity, there's one thing no one can ever steal: your freedom to choose how you respond. That's Frankl's central discovery. Think about your life right now. Maybe you're not in a concentration camp, but maybe you're trapped in your own form of prison: stress, debt, a toxic job, broken relationships, or even your own fears. The question remains the same: how do you find meaning in the middle of suffering? Frankl describes mornings in the camp where prisoners would wake at dawn to the sound of guards shouting. They marched to work sites in freezing temperatures, half naked, starving, often carrying the body of someone who didn't survive the night. The brutality was beyond comprehension. And yet, some prisoners looked up to the sky at sunrise and whispered prayers of gratitude for being alive another day. That choice, the choice to find meaning in a moment of despair, is what kept them going. This is where I need you to stop and think. How often do you let small inconveniences ruin your day? Traffic, a rude comment, a bill you weren't expecting. Meanwhile, people in the most hopeless conditions imaginable found reasons to keep moving forward. Wake up. Life is not about avoiding suffering. It's about finding something worth suffering for. Frankl tells us that meaning can be discovered in three main ways: through work or a deed, through love, and through suffering itself. Work gives us purpose when we create or contribute something greater than ourselves. Love gives us purpose when we dedicate ourselves to another person or cherish someone so deeply that they become our reason for living. And suffering, yes, even suffering, can give us meaning when we face it with courage and transform it into strength. Think of someone you love right now. Imagine them depending on you, waiting for you, believing in you. That love can keep you alive through the worst storms. Frankl himself clung to the thought of his wife, even when he didn't know if she was alive. He would imagine conversations with her, replay her smile in his mind, and that gave him a reason to endure another day. This isn't just about surviving horrors of the past, it's about living today. Ask yourself, what or who gives your life meaning right now? If your answer is unclear, that's exactly why you're here. There's a moment in the book that hits like a punch to the chest. Frankl recalls prisoners who gave up. They would lie down, refuse to get up, stop eating, stop fighting. Within hours, they were gone. Their bodies shut down after their minds had already surrendered. That's the power of hopelessness. It kills faster than hunger or disease. And here's where I need you to wake up. When you quit on yourself, when you stop searching for meaning, you're already surrendering. But there's another side. Some prisoners would share their last piece of bread even when starving. Others would whisper words of encouragement or help someone struggling to walk. These small acts of kindness, Frankl says, proved that even in hell, humans still had the freedom to choose goodness. Pause and let that sink in. No matter where you are, no matter how bad things get, you always have the freedom to choose your response. That is the ultimate human power. Now, let me connect this to what we've learned in other books. In Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill describes fear as the tool that enslaves us, that turns us into drifters. Frankl proves this in real life. Those who let fear consume them perished quickly. Those who found meaning, even in pain, transcended fear. In the manuscript found in Accra, Paulo Coelho reminds us that defeat and solitude can shape us. Frankl lived that truth. And just like the monk who sold his Ferrari teaches that true wealth is inner peace, Frankl shows us that true freedom is inner strength. All these lessons connect into one bigger picture. Life is not about comfort, it's about meaning. Frankl explains that happiness cannot be pursued directly. It must ensue as a byproduct of living a life of meaning. If you chase happiness, it will slip through your fingers. But if you live for purpose, happiness will follow naturally. Think about how many people today are obsessed with chasing happiness through money, fame, or endless consumption, only to feel empty inside. Wake up, my friend. You don't find happiness by looking for it. You find it by living with meaning. Suspense deepens when Frankl describes the moment liberation finally came. Many prisoners were too broken to even celebrate. Some wept, some collapsed, others stared in silence. Freedom, after years of horror, felt surreal. But here's the twist. Liberation was not the end of suffering. Many survivors struggled with trauma, with bitterness, with the question of why they lived when so many others died. And this is where Frankl's message shines. Survival alone is not enough. You must decide what to do with the life you've been given. That's why Frankl created logotherapy. It's not about analyzing your childhood or your desires. It's about pointing you toward meaning here and now. A patient once told him, "Doctor, I cannot go on living. I have no purpose." Frankl asked, "What if your purpose is to care for someone who depends on you? What if your mission is unfinished?" And that reframing changed everything. Think of your life again. Who needs you? What mission is waiting for you? What work, love, or challenge could transform your suffering into strength? There's another powerful story Frankl shares. A woman in the camp knew she was going to die. Instead of despairing, she told him she was grateful life had given her one last chance to understand beauty. From her cell, she could see a single tree. She would talk to it, and she told Frankl that the tree whispered back, "I am here. I am life. I am eternal." Even in her final days, she found meaning. My friend, this is the essence. You cannot always control your circumstances, but you can always control your attitude. And attitude is what creates meaning. Now I need you to pause and reflect. How many times have you let your suffering crush you instead of shape you? How many times have you chosen despair instead of meaning? Don't lie to yourself. This is the moment to wake up. Frankl insists that suffering is not necessary for meaning, but when suffering is unavoidable, it can become the pathway to it. If you lose everything, if pain is inevitable, the question isn't why me, but what for? What am I suffering for? That simple shift changes everything. And here's the greatest lesson of all. Life never stops asking you questions. Every day, life asks, "What will you do with me today?" It's not about what you expect from life. It's about what life expects from you. That's meaning. Let's bring it closer to home. Right now, maybe you're chasing money. You think that once you get the right salary or the right house, you'll feel complete. But haven't we seen from Rich Dad Poor Dad that money without financial education traps you in the rat race? Frankl would say money without meaning leaves you empty. True wealth isn't about possessions, it's about having a why to live for. So let me ask you, what's your why?